The first days of 2026 have been anything but calm. From street protests to military seizures, and from political uprisings to global power plays, the world is seeing unrest on multiple fronts, all at once. This week's biggest flashpoints stretch from the Middle East to the Americas, raising serious questions about stability, leadership, and what comes next. Iran is now entering its second week of widespread protests. What began as anger over a deepening economic crisis has turned into one of the strongest challenges the Islamic Republic has faced in years. Demonstrators have poured into streets in Tehran, Mashhad, and several other cities, openly calling for the removal of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Chants like, "Death to the dictator" and "Don't be afraid, we are all together" are echoing across neighborhoods, slogans that were once unthinkable in public spaces. In a striking shift, protesters have been seen waving the historic lion and sun flag and calling for the return of the monarchy under Reza Pahlavi. Support for the exiled Pahlavi family was long considered taboo in Iran. Its public revival signals that the unrest is no longer just about prices or jobs. It is about rejecting the system itself. For many observers, this marks a turning point in Iran's protest movement. The Iranian government has tried multiple strategies to stop the unrest, from offering subsidies and economic relief to imposing internet shutdowns and using force on the streets. But none of it has slowed the protests. Despite arrests, shootings, and information blackouts, people continue to mobilize, suggesting a level of coordination and public anger rarely seen in recent years. Analysts say what makes these protests different is their persistence and their political clarity. The focus has shifted from reform to outright regime change, and that raises a question many are now asking openly. Is the Islamic Republic facing its most serious challenge since 1979? For now, the leadership remains in control. But the scale and tone of the unrest suggest deep fractures that cannot be easily repaired. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, US President Donald Trump has triggered fresh global tensions. After the capture of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro earlier this month, Trump has made his ambitions clear: control Venezuela's vast oil reserves. He has said up to 50 million barrels of oil would be turned over to the United States, with Washington controlling the revenue. Industry experts warn that legal, political, and logistical hurdles could make those plans far more complicated than they appear. The pressure on Venezuela has intensified further with the seizure of a Russian-flagged oil tanker by the US Coast Guard. The aging vessel, already under sanctions, was allegedly part of a shadow fleet supplying Venezuelan oil. Its capture has further strained ties between Washington and Moscow, raising fears of retaliation and escalation. Trump has also reignited controversy by renewing his push to control Greenland. The White House has said it is considering a range of options, including military force, to acquire the territory. Denmark has responded sharply, warning that any invasion would be met with armed resistance, escalating tensions within NATO itself. Back in the United States, protests have erupted after an immigration agent shot and killed a 37-year-old woman in Minneapolis. The administration initially claimed she tried to run over officers, but video footage has contradicted that account, fueling public outrage and nationwide demonstrations. From Iran's streets to Venezuela's oil fields, from Greenland's icy politics to protests in American cities, the early days of 2026 show a world under pressure. Economic pain, political anger, and power struggles are colliding, and the consequences could reshape global politics in the months ahead.